Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take. This one on woke women. There's been talk on the internet, um, and mainly about this actor in the UK who said that he broke up with his girlfriend because she was too woke, and then that spurred an article, I forget from where, about why that's a dangerous idea that men won't date woke women. Men won't date woke women for the simple reason that when you're talking about woke women or anybody who considers themselves woke, you're talking about people who are generally very, very self righteous. And that is unattractive. At least it is to me. When you're so self righteous and so full of yourself that you sort of stand on top of your ivory tower judging people. And that's what I think a lot of the woke people do. They think they're on this crusade or mission. It doesn't really matter what crusade or mission you're on. When you're on a crusade or a mission, you tend to have tunnel vision and tend to ignore the other stuff around you. And you tend to have an opinion that can be seen from space, essentially. Anybody who's woke has almost not a mantra. It's almost like a catechism of answers and things that they say and do regarding everything. And these days, woke culture is so extreme. It's so over the top that no one can have any fun. Everybody's wrong, everybody's racist, and everybody's fascist. So yeah, I won't date woke women. I'm on these dating apps, and when I flip through, if I see someone who, is wearing their politics on their sleeve, it's one thing to say, well, I'm a registered Democrat, or I'm a registered Republican, or I like gun rights, or whatever. That's one thing. But to actually say things like, well, I would never date a Trump supporter, that is, first off, it's not true. I don't believe it's true. I think most women who say that are saying that to put on an air. They're trying to show everybody, oh, look how wonderful and woke I am. See, I won't date a Trump supporter. Yeah, you would. If he was good looking enough and had enough money and had some of the things you'd like, but he still supported Trump, I think you'd say, well, he has all these other wonderful qualities. Anybody can rationalize anything, right, little Joan? Joan can rationalize anything, and she's just a little dog. Thank you. This idea of wokeness is really an idea, I think, of arrogance. The arrogance that you know everything, that you're so woke and you're so wonderful that you just know it all, and you can sit on your throne and judge us all about how dumb and stupid and depressing we all are, and not woke we. And it's a trend, it's a trend that I think a lot of women have gotten into. It justifies their belief system to some degree, validates them, allows them to post things, oh, I'm so stunning and brave. I posted this thing about Donald Trump and he's such an a-hole. And that is a trend in Hollywood too, right? And we've talked about that in plenty of videos. Hollywood has gone down the woke hole, and they don't want to come back from it because they think it's making them money. And it's very fashionable and trendy to be an anti-Trumper, but really, that's not where the cool kids are anymore. It's not. You're not a cool kid just because you bash Donald Trump, and in fact, you couldn't be a more basic bitch, as they say. Bashing Donald Trump is as boring and as staid and as, generic as saying you're for oxygen. I mean, people who are in that realm of bashing Trump and feeling so good about that they've somehow done something for, the less fortunate, are just really looking for virtue points. And so if you're woke, you're probably one of these women looking for online virtue points to show everybody how wonderful and stunningly brave you are. But you're not. you're really, I didn't see people during the election posting oh, I'm anti-Hillary. Like, I didn't see that. Now maybe a lot of that came from the guys. I don't know, but I don't recall seeing it. Maybe on one ad sometime, but but the anti-Trump ones, oh my God, they're all over the place. And it's the same sort of like high and mighty attitude for the people who bother to post that kind of stuff. It's like, look how wonderful I am. I am liberal. I listen to NPR, and I donate to charities. I volunteer my time, and I don't like Donald Trump. So, it's very unattractive. I mean, it just is. Anybody caught up that much in their politics, on the one hand, they're caught up in it, but on the other hand, it's clear they don't really care. They're only caught up in it because, again, it's just a trend. If the trend had gone the other way, I remember when, after 9/11, everybody suddenly loved George W. Bush. My God, what a president. He stands on the top of rubble and waves the American flag, and he's going to smite our enemies. And suddenly everybody loved this guy, and it sickened me. It just sickened me. We went through the same process, and only in reverse. But those people were just as unattractive because you were like, tone it down. So I say unto you, woke women, first off, really you should dig down deep and try to understand the issues you claim to be for, and they should be issue based. They shouldn't be personality based. If you don't like Trump because he said something nasty and vulgar sometime, I'm sorry, I've said this before. I have news for you. When Trump said grab the you-know-what, that was just the tip of the iceberg on things that guys say when there's only guys around. And when he said it was locker room talk, he's absolutely 100% right. It is locker room talk. That wasn't literal speech. Trump is the kind of guy who would show up at a party, and there was always, when you get a group of guys together, there's always one guy who's the most vulgar, disgusting guy because that's his thing. And he says vulgar and disgusting things about everything. And women is one of those avenues. I don't know what happens when a group of women get together. I assume they talk about clothes and boyfriends and things that women like to talk about. But I can tell you 100%, when guys get together, and there are only guys in the room, the things they talk about are sports and women. And we all kind of have the same deal. We talk about how women look. And to us, it's just as sporting. I don't know every guy. I'm not friends with every guy I meet, but it's an instant rapport with other guys. If you're, for instance, standing on an elevator and some young hot girl gets on the elevator and then gets off the floor, and you're left on the elevator with the other guys, and she walks off and the door's closed, and one of the guys goes, whoo. And everybody starts laughing, and they go, yeah, I mean, holy shit, look at her. She was amazing. Did you see that? I'd like, if I was 20 years younger, blah, blah, blah. We talk that way. Now, you could say, oh, you're a bunch of pigs. No, it's not really a personal thing. It's what we do. It's what we surmise and like to think about. And we bond in that sharing experience. It's not like we're going to go hunt down that woman and all have our way with her. That we're talking about looks at women and how they look, because that's what we think about. That's where the way we're wired. And so, woke women, I don't think they're wired in a particular way, but I think women tend to be wired to follow trends because they want to be popular and be liked, especially amongst their friends. And I think women are very competitive with each other in that likability section. They want to be the most liked. They want to have the most attention paid to them. So I think wokeness has become one of those things that has been added to the mix. It's not 100%. Not all women are woke. Some women could care less about all this nonsense, or they see it for what it is. You know, there are plenty of smart women out there who just go, yeah, you're super woke. Just calm your tits. Women, I think, who are woke are the insecure ones. They are just as insecure as a guy, you know, getting on Tinder and showing off his muscles or showing off his car or showing off how much money he has. You know, those are all signs of like insecurity because you're kind of like trying too hard to impress. I think the wokeness is one of those factors. You're trying too hard to impress us. And quite frankly, men are not impressed by wokeness. And in fact, the kind of men who are impressed by wokeness are the exact kind of men you don't want to attract. Many other people have talked about this in other videos, how the woke men, there's been all sorts of problems with them. You know, guys who are using wokeness to get in with girls, and some of them are a little sketchy. You know, a few of them have been caught doing kind of bad things, especially in the world of comics. We've had a few incidences of these woke, super feminist guys turned out to be total creeps who were pressuring women into sex or whatever. You know, it's a weird take. I mean, it's not 100% true or anything, but you know, you have to wonder about a young man who gets super woke and is constantly trying to be around women. Look, it's natural for straight young men to be interested in getting with women, and believe me, I've been a young man. I've seen young men that would do almost anything to push the needle in that area. They will try things. They will try different clothes. They will try different attitudes. They will try different jobs and activities just to get near women or to have opportunities to have conversations with them. And a lot of them can't even manage that. They just get in the vicinity of the women and they just freeze up. I certainly was one of them. You know, you're perfectly free to be as woke and as you want, but I don't think you're really attracting any of the kind of guys that would be good. I think you're just going to end up attracting some of these sort of pseudo-woke guys who are either using it for their own nefarious purposes or, quite frankly, are very beta male, and you won't even be attracted to them. And that's part of the great irony of all the wokeness, that a lot of the guys who do become super feminists and drink soy and become vegetarian, they sort of turn into these weak guys who aren't attractive to women. So, or most women, I should say. I mean, I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure there's a few women who dig that, but you know, there's people who dig all kinds of weird stuff. So for me, yeah, I'm a total swipe left on the wokeness. I don't want to deal with any of that. I think most woke women, they don't have a sense of humor. They're not willing to engage fairly on the issues, especially now in this environment. They get too emotional, I think, about their issues, as most woke people do, regardless of sex, men or women. They don't have a winning argument for a lot of the wokeness. So the moment you corner them on something, boom, they just explode. Oh, you're an evil person because you don't care about this marginalized group or that marginal group, or you're a homophobe or transphobe or whatever. And you know, that's just not true. So my pitch to you, woke women, is if you, it sounds very old-fashioned, but if you want to attract a guy, don't wear your wokeness out on your sleeve, and don't put it on your bio. It's very annoying and not very attractive.